Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
I remember when Mammoth Hunters was first released. It was the first game in the Alea series that I did not like. It was the first one, at least, I tracked down that I was like, ooh, this is okay, but didn't speak to me. It also famously was the first one to be screwed up with the numbering system. When Rio Grande brought it over, up to this point, they had numbers on the side of the boxes. This is the first one that didn't. People were even printing stickers to put on the side of the box to keep the numbering system alive. I don't know why that mistake was made, but there it was when it was imported over, and a little piece of history that may have been lost. Mammoth Hunters is an area control type of game, and as you famously know from my other reviews, it's not something I overly enjoy. It can be fun. I do like some of them, but I'm a little bit more picky with them as it isn't a mechanism that I truly enjoy or something that I take to very much. So Mammoth Hunter is going to have an interesting mechanism where you can pay to play certain cards that will allow you to take an action that only helps you, or you can take a free action with the card play of an action that will help you but also others. And that's always your push and pull in the game. Do I want to pay to only help me and exclude others, or do I want to take an action that will help everybody but I don't have to pay for it? And that's going to be the main decision you're going to be making in the game and how to play these cards that you have. Otherwise, it's a fairly standard area control game. The game screams for negotiation but does not allow for it. So if you have a game master at home who puts the games on the tables and enforces the rules, they really need to enforce that because the game does not allow it, although the game screams for it and really does need it, I think. Because there is a negotiation, it becomes a take that game and really a attack the leader type game. So whoever's winning will be beaten down, unlikely to win. So you kind of want to hold back a little bit in this one. You don't want to be perceived as the winner. You don't want to be perceived as the leader because everybody else is going to have an incentive to beat you down, and then all the mice scurry to see who can score the most points because it's not going to be the person in first place, most likely, depending on their card play and how they're able to play, but everybody's going to be attacking you. Mammoth Hunter is an interesting game. I like the theme of it. I like the look of it. It was brought over. I think the production was very good. The rulebook is solid, but it was a little bit more too mean for us, and it didn't live up to the Alea name, and all of that led to a purge for us. It wasn't a strong enough endeavor into the area control for us to play. There's a lot other ones that we'd rather hit the table with, and Mammoth Hunter was a flop for us. Definite purge. Here's Mammoth Hunter by Ravensburger, Rio Grande Games. It's in the Alea series, but the biggest faux pas is the number 8 is in here, so be aware of that. This is a really famous set of games, and they were coming out known for their great quality. I think this is one of the first games that kind of let people down. But here are the components. We'll put the rulebook aside and take a look at that. You're going to get a little book that tells you about what's coming out that year and what games were available, etc. And then you're going to get a board, and the board is going to have a scoring track around it and different areas on the board that you can see that you can differentiate, etc. And you can see here the different textures on the background. You're going to have these glaciers that will come out during the game. Each number on the back will correspond to a spot on the board that you'll be covering up. You're going to get some cards here, which are fine. Some are light and some are dark. You can see the differences here. They have a gameplay mechanic in that. You are going to get a bunch of goodies in here. Now, these goodies will, they're pretty good quality. It's about what you'd expect at the time. Getting mammoths like this was a big deal. I suppose nowadays they'd be screened. You get some of these. These are your people that you're putting out, and they roll pretty well. Your stones are going to be your currencies. They're probably about as thin as you could get. Once again, not too terrible for the time period. And you have these clubs and campfires, etc. that will come out on the board. And these are all good for the time period. I can't complain too much, although I think this could be modernized. I should say, once again, we're getting an insert from this time period that it looks custom, but isn't made for this game, clearly. This is not the components that were made for this, but, Here's a rulebook for Mammoth Hunter. An overview in the contents over here. You are going to open up. Now, Alea has some of the best rule books this side of Queens. You're going to have the rules over here, and then here are going to be, if you already played it once, you want to look at this. This might just be like little reminders to you. I like this quite a bit. You can see pictures. There's detailed explanations, little notes. You're going to have examples that you're going to have over here, you can see. And it's all in 4-color. Excellent job here. Then at the end, game in, how to score, and then explanation of every single card in the game, the light and the dark. So excellent job. Alea, which Rio Grande brought this over, always has the best rule books. Fantastic. Set the game up is very easy. I'm going to show you a 5-player set. You're going to shuffle the light and dark deck. You're going to, in a 5-player game, you're going to put 30 stones over here by the dark deck. Everybody's going to take 4 stones in their hand, and then they'll take the people of their color. You're going to put a campfire face down, shuffle these up, put one in each of the areas of the board. Everything else is set aside, and you're ready to play. Everybody's going to get 2 light cards and 3 dark cards that will go into their hand. Then everybody is going to take turns before the game starts, putting out 6 people in turn order into each of the regions. It doesn't matter where they go, and you'll place this out until 10 of these are out on the board. On your turn, you're going to play 1 card from your hand. You have light cards and dark cards. What's interesting about the dark cards is when you play these down, you're going to gain the number of stones on. So this case 2, this case 2, this one you won't get any. But you'll be gaining stones when you play these cards. But it always has something on here that will help the opponent. So one opponent may move a campfire tile. One opponent may remove 2 hunters, 1 per player. One opponent may remove a mammoth. Each opponent may place a hunter. So there's different things you can do when you play the dark cards. The light cards, instead, you will pay from your supply stones to play these, but these will only help you. Take 1 club or place a mammoth. Place 3 hunters in the mountains or any 2 hunters in any region. So the light cards help you. These will help your opponents. After you play your card, you take your action. You may just discard 1 card for no effect. You no longer have one in your hand. Then you would draw back up to 5 cards. Doesn't matter which deck you have. You just can't have all light or all dark in your hand. Let's say everybody's played a card and the board looks something like this. Then what you're going to do is... Let's say after everybody's played a card, you end up with a board that looks something like this. Then you will flip over these campfires. You will go through each area, and you will go through what's called conflict. So you simply pop this over, and you're going to have a number 3. Every area is going to start with the 3. Then you will add this number to it for the campfires, which is 5, plus how many mammoths are there, which is 6. That means this area right here could handle 6 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So everybody there is fine. So let's do this area over here also for another example. This has 0, but you always start out with 3, plus 1 would be 4, so we would be fine there. Let's say this area down here ended up like this. You would flip this over, you would have a base number of 3, plus 1 campfire would be 4, and there's no mammoths. That means only 4 people can survive on this area. I'm going to break these up by color right here so you can kind of see easily where everybody's at. So in this regard, we have yellow and black with just 1, and this can only sustain 3 plus 1 is 4, but because they have an equal number, even though they're tied, and they have the least, they're going to come off. We recount this 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We still have 8 people there, but only 4 can survive. So red has 2 and blue has 2, so they're both going to lose 1. Doesn't matter if that would put them under the number because they're equal. Now we have 4, 5, 6. And then the next one would have been green because they would have the next highest. They haven't lost somebody yet. So now we're down to 3, 4, 5, but it can only sustain 4. These are the ones with the least now, but they're tied. So they would come off, and now we're down to 3 with 4, and we would be done there. The next thing, after you've done all of these, you're going to score. And the way it's going to score is, you're going to get 1 point if there's no mammoth there. So this one, green would get 1 point for each person. He would score 3 points for this area there's no mammoth. Here, there is 1 mammoth, so everybody that survived there is going to get 2 points. So blue is going to get 4, and green and yellow is going to get 2. Now, if this example had been here, and there's 2 or more mammoths, then you would get 3 points per person that is there. And you'll tally those scores up around. Then whoever's in last place can take one of these glaciers that correspond to the board, pick whichever one they want, and they can simply put it on the board, eliminating that area. So the campfires would come off, the people would come off, go back to their owners, and now you have this on the board covering up this location. Now, in the next round, when somebody wants to put a glacier out, it just has to be adjacent to this place. They have 1, 2, 6, or 9, 1, 6, or 9 to deal with. It just has to be orthogonally adjacent to it. So the glacier will start forcing. This is also going to shrink the board. You're going to have less options. And as the rounds go by, you'll be fighting for more and more areas. After 4 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Now, there is a little caveat here with clubs. You can gain some of these from the cards. What these are going to allow you to do is to help you in combat so you don't die. They will kind of block the points off. That's the only little caveat that hasn't been explained. Who should buy this game? Anybody looking to complete the Alea series. That's a good reason to have this game. And that will tell you what I think about the game right there. That I'm telling only completionists should have it. If you like mammoths and that's something that's interesting to you, then this would definitely be one of the few games that have been released on the topic. In addition, you're going to have a little bit of area control game with some take that and some meanness to it. It's a fairly standard game for an area control, nothing that really speaks out, but it is interesting. One little nibble about you pay to take an action that helps you or a free action that can help other people also. And that really is all this game's going to give to you and deliver on. For us, wasn't up to the standards of the Alea series or what we want to play on the board gaming table. Definitely be a Purge.